Yo, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another video blog episode of K and Mitch Talk. This is number 11. They stacking up. It's been a little bit since I've done one, but I've been meaning to. Just been a little busy in the studio mixing and stuff, so I've been dedicating my time to making good music for clients and for the world to hear. So really excited about some of the recent stuff I've worked on, and hope that people can hear it soon from great artists who are doing great things. So hope everything is going well for y'all. Today I'm gonna this is kind of gonna be a 2-in-1 kind of subject. It's called music producers and bad monitors. First off, I got a message to all the music producers out there. Most of the time I'm doing mastering, but I am a mixing and mastering engineer, as you'll find on my website and promo material. I do both. Obviously, you have to. In 2015 is just that kind of day and time, but I believe that I can do just as quality, just as much of a job. Basically what I'm trying to say, I believe I can do just as great of a job mixing a record for somebody that I can mastering. I enjoy the mastering process more. I love it. But mixing is an incredible talent to have, and I'm glad that I'm able to do both and satisfy people. And most of the time I'm dealing with hip hop music, and even if I'm not dealing with hip hop music, it's either like R&B or pop music. It's music to where most of it is programmed with virtual instruments and drum samples. So it's not really live instrumentation what I deal with. And since that's the case, this means that the music producer is producing it in whatever DAW they work in, DAW, D-A-W, Digital Audio Workstation. So whatever DAW/software they work in, they're hands-on with it. You know, they're putting EQs and probably trying to compress stuff. More so EQing, panning, and having stuff at certain volumes. They're kind of doing rudimentary mixing on stuff, and then they're going to send it off to whoever the engineer is, or the tracking engineer, and then the tracking engineer. However the process is, it gets to the mixing engineer in the mixing stage. And as a mixing engineer, in this kind of condition, I have to work with whatever I'm handed. And so sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But my challenge to music producers is that make your music sound as good as possible when it's in your hands. Because it makes it easier in the long run. And it also makes it to where like we can really capture your vision if it's good. So like here recently when I'm working on some of the mixes for some of my clients, with several of these clients, the producer already did a good job with making the sound good. Some of them I had to work harder, but a couple of days ago, man, I was doing a couple of mixes for a client out of Indianapolis, Indiana. He's coming out with some incredible music, but I was doing mixes for him, and a producer out of Texas did an incredible job. Well, let's say he did a good job at making the music sound good already. So like I wasn't fighting as a mix engineer to just make it sound good, right? Like it wasn't so bad that all I could get it to was good. Like, no, it already came in good, so I was able to get it to a great and excellent kind of status because, like, I really wasn't fighting to make it sound good. It already sounded good, so, like, I was already, like, in an amazing position as a mix engineer. I'm like, oh, boy, yeah. So, that's how the situation should be. I mean, obviously, music producers are not engineers. That's why we all do different things, and we're all specialists and experts at different things. But music production and mixing music, they go hand in hand. So, as a music producer, you are mixing your stuff, especially, like I said, in a hip hop, R&B/pop, anything that's whether it's being programmed inside a computer, Rather it's virtual instruments or drum samples. When it's not live instrumentation, the music producer slash composer is hands-on with their stuff way more than a music producer who's producing something that's live. They're more hands-on in the sense of they're actually doing some engineering themselves. They're doing some mixing themselves versus a music producer who's producing something live. They're going to have a tracking engineer that's going to be more hands-on with that side. Well, not when you're programming stuff. That producer is going to be more directly hands-on with some pre-mixing stuff before sending it off to the mixing engineer. So my challenge to music producers is just do your best. I speak on behalf of every mix engineer. It makes it way better for your product and easier in the end if you do a good job. Don't send stuff crappy, distorted, too high. Like, man, do a good job. Like, if you want information, there's information out here. Like, don't be lazy. Don't be careless. Like, do your best. So that's my challenge. Now, moving on, the second half, bad monitors, right? It's music producers and bad monitors. Now, you guys probably think I'm about to actually bash bad monitors. Well, one, any tracking, mixing, or mastering engineer, you shouldn't be having bad speakers as your main monitors anyways. Now, that's subjective because I've heard $10,000, $15,000 speakers that sound like bullcrap, right? They sound horrible to me. But then I've heard a pair of $500 speakers like my KRK Rocket H Generation 3s that I use. I think they're incredible. I think they sound like $10,000 speakers, and I think the other ones sound like $500 speakers. So it's all subjective at the end of the day. It's all about what you hear and what sounds good to you. But I think there are some speakers that we all can agree, like, man, they're not accurate. They don't sound good. You know, stuff is exaggerated. They're not flat. You got to think about stereo imaging, especially for mixing and mastering. You want to know what's going on between the left and right in all frequency range. Like, I want to know that kind of stuff, and to me, my monitors are accurate. Also, you got to be in an accurate room to hear that stuff as well. So that's monitoring is hand in hand with room acoustics and treatment. So that's important as well. But what I'm saying is that your main monitors shouldn't be bad, but bad monitors can be just as important as having good monitors and accurate monitors as your main. What I'm talking about, if you look behind me, you'll see I have KRK Rocket H Generation 3s as my main monitors, but then I have these really garbage Samson GT studio monitors that's like 4-inch speakers inside of them. And why do I have those? Because everybody is not listening on accurate monitors in a treated room, right? So these smaller monitors represent cars, home stereo, computer speakers, smaller systems to make sure bass and phase issues are translating and aren't translating. Like, basically, you know, making sure that problems are not being is not happening when I'm flipping down. Like, I don't want my bass to be sounding all good on these big speakers and I transfer it down on these smaller speakers and you can't hear none of it. Or I don't want it to sound good and then I switch over to my B speakers and there's like all kind of phase issues, right? So I just want to make sure that stuff is translating to the real world well. So once again, for your main monitors, have as whatever is accurate to you and flat to you, have the best monitors that you can afford. Sometimes it's not about what you can afford. Like I said, these KRKs are $250 a speaker. So $500 pair of speakers, that may be expensive to some people. For me, those are super affordable, cheap compared to monitors that I know that my counterparts and peers are using. But they sound really good to me. So it's not that I couldn't afford more costly kind of speakers. I just love the way they sound, so I roll with them. I don't care if they're $500, $5,000, $5. Like, I love the way these sound, so this is my choice of monitors. I love the KRK sound. I have KRK monitors, both of the K&S series headphones. I had the 6400 and the 8400. So, anywho, although accurate headphones and main monitors are super important, actually the other way around, accurate main monitors and headphones are really important. I think that it's just as important to make sure that you can have something that you can switch to. That way you know what's going on. So I think flexibility in a monitoring chain is really, really important, especially when you have studios built in your home, and we don't all have the money to have $1 million treated rooms, right? So we want to make sure that our music is translating out to the real world as well. You know, like I said earlier, I do mostly mastering, so I want to make sure that I'm the last step in the process. So I have to make sure that clients' music is going to translate to the real world as accurate as possible. And so having something to bounce over to is awesome, to hear a different kind of take on things. And yeah, I don't have great cables hooked up to these speakers. They're not great speakers. Like, I've set up the worst situation possible for these speakers to kind of represent real world stuff, because that's just the day and age we live in. So anyways, music producers, do good on your music. Everybody else, I would set up a pair of bad monitors to my engineers, because being able to A/B stuff between that is good, because not every system is the same. So that can be a challenge sometimes. All right, keep making good music.